Atlanta saying, "I got your number, dude." Fantasy. He was on the world stage. I believe in him. I believe in fantasy.
Here it is. Oh, Portcraft again. Do it again.
Oh,
wow, that was
over
fast.
Haven and Bloodcraft
That
too.
was fast. Oh,
See,
Loki.
This is kind of awkward.
I'm pretty sure he just grabbed Loki's Zodiac Demon. I'm fairly sure that's what I saw.
Also, yeah. Two things here. Portalcraft is like, they're not terrible in Take-Two, but they can lack some win conditions sometimes. So picking them, people picking them over other factions is kind of weird. Portalcraft, I would say, is like a tier 2, in my opinion, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And he also didn't take Bad Katha, who is actually great in Take-Two, actually insanely good in Take-Two, and opted for Zodiac Demon instead, which is really interesting.
All right. And yeah, this, I mean, as you say, like, look at the options we have here. You know what I mean? Like, on the left, meh. On the right, meh. And this is Portalcraft. You know what I mean? Sometimes
they're silvers, yeah.
Yeah,
they're silvers,
and they're
too.
Silvers too, absolutely. And silvers you'd expect to get a little bit more value out of. Of course, you want to see things like Icarus, of course. And I think that's what people. I think people go to Portalcraft to try to high roll, and I like it. I like it. They try to go for the look.
Maybe that might be it. I mean, if that's what your plan is, then play Runecraft, man. Just go for the full Earth Sigil deck and just
can you high roll with
go
Runecraft?
ham.
Can you do that?
Oh
Is
yeah.
it possible?
Oh yeah. It's the only way you can win, actually. It's the only possible way to win, by the way.
All right, perfect.
Well, high rolling is all great and all, but you need a high roll in style.
That's right.
What is more stylish? Is Runecraft more stylish, or is Portalcraft more
100%
stylish?
Runecraft is more stylish. Portalcraft's cooler.
Runecraft, definitely. Yeah. Well, the thing about Runecraft is they're good in ladders, so they make your opponent much more angry if you beat them with
Yeah.
them. So.
Portalcraft is way more stylish. There's like sounds and lights and things that flash when you play. Have you ever played a game where you have Deus Ex
That's just the
Machina
game, Rainy.
and two Acceleratiums?
What? Does he play Shadowverse?
You have two Acceleratiums and a Deus Ex Machina effect, and you place a. Have you played double Spinaria combos where you put down one artifact and the thing flashes for half your life before you can actually take your turn afterwards?
That's true.
It's got to be great living down in AA rank. I haven't been there in so
Nobody
long.
understands me. Help!
Perfect. So
right side. 100%.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Deus Ex Zeus.
And
Oh
Zeus.
my God.
This is going to be the talk of the tournament. I think Zeus is going to be like, is this just the card?
That's right. Tell us a little bit about the adjustments made to Take-Two. Maybe players aren't actually familiar with what's been happening in Take-Two for a bit. Envy, could you kind of summarize very briefly?
I actually did pick Bad Katha. That's good. So basically, Take-Two has been undergoing rotations far before actual rotation format was set in place. So Take-Two is actually the last 4 sets, I do believe. Basically, it's just one set ahead of current rotation format. So Rise of Bahamut is gone in Take-Two, which is why you don't see anybody being offered Bahamut. You don't see Breath of Salamander. You don't see Albert, which is still PTSD for me this day. I'm just still like, I'm going to get Alberted. I hate this so much.
Every
wait
time.
a minute. They can't.
All right. So we've seen.
And with the natural rotation there, you actually see the 2 best neutrals being Zeus and Israfil. So
Yeah, I can agree with that. So we've seen a few Portalcraft decks. Envy, talk to us about this one. Do you think this has better options than the other Portalcraft decks, or do you think that it is lacking?
I think this one has Pure-Hearted Singer and Snow, which are both better card draw options. And it's got a little bit better going for it. It's not holding a Chronos. It's actually got a Zeus.
This is the best.
Ariad's
deck.
kind of okay. She's all right.
Best card in Shadowverse. Come on.
I feel like this one's a lot better stats-wise. Like, I feel like the creatures in this one are just much beefier, and that's probably going to end up being better.
You know, one thing I've got to say about the neutral cards that you can pick up and Take-Two now, Goblin Princess is probably one of the biggest things that you can do. You know what I mean? It floods the board. It can get you a ward. And that's why I feel like the gold card that we were just talking about for Portalcraft, name escapes me immediately, evolve it, banish, get a copy of it.
Morton.
Yeah, Morton against Goblin Princess. I had that happen to me the other day, and I wanted to throw my phone on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You still have your phone?
Yeah, I still have my phone. I didn't. I was reserved. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think about Morton though? And because cards like Goblin Princess and the early game, like and all that stuff, do you think that, like, we talked a little bit about Morton, but I feel like you're not giving it as much credit as I am.
Well, there might be a reason. You can't actually Morton a Goblin Princess. It's two play points or less.
Is it 2 play points? It's not 2
Yeah,
power.
it's 2 play points. That's not 2 power. But Goblin Princess herself is really, really good.
Oh.
In fact, I would say she's hella good, if I'm allowed to say that on Twitch.
Yeah, you know what? Hecka, hella. Maybe that didn't happen to me then, and I'm just having PTSD of something really bad happening to
I'm doing
me.
live
Maybe.
research right now.
I think this is the second time I've talked about Morton, just had no idea what it did. You know what? Maybe that's why I give it too
The
much
thing
credit.
about Morton is that he's a
Banish
Portalcraft card.
An enemy
so-
follower that
Yeah.
costs 2 play points or less.
So it's
I'm
cost.
sorry.
It is cost.
Yeah, 2 play
Okay, so I'm
points.
just wrong. All right, Envy, you know what? You're right. Morton's just okay. All right. But yeah, this
Take
deck-
2 expert, by the way.
Yeah, Envy is. That's why that's
Yeah.
why you're here today. You
Yeah.
gotta let us know.
You know, it's actually, I really like Take 2 because it forces you, and there you see Morton the Manipulator on his evolved form here up on screen. So that is his effect. Banishes an enemy follower that costs 2 play points or less, and then put a copy of that follower into play as an allied follower. So you don't have to pay that cost again. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's just there. And what I was saying is I really enjoy Take 2 because the situations are so incredibly different, right? The way that you come at how you value cards and how you look at them and how you look at board states in your hand and which cards are actually impactful in the game are different. They're very different than in construction.
Well, as we saw, Envy said, like even cards like Pitfall, right? It, like makes you play not just the game differently, but like just how you value your turns. Like, do I just want to pass this turn to not give any value up to my opponent's follower, and then just use Pitfall? You know what I mean? Like that is vastly different than anything you would see in constructed play. And I feel like that's just one of the many.
Well,
Right. There's cards that just like you don't play at all that are just like dominate this format. Like Lion Champion's like one of the best cards in this format, and you can't see it at all in constructed. It's great actually for that.
well, we're about to hop into the match. Envy, do you give Morton the Manipulator a thumbs up or a thumbs down? And by proxy, Exo a thumbs up or a thumbs down? A thumb
I give it
sideways. Exo,
a
you'd
middle
live to see another
sideways,
day.
yeah.
I'm gonna give it an Exo, please. Like, what am I even talking about?
All right,
Oh my God.
let's get this game prepped and ready to go. And that's actually a really good. I mean, there have been countless times where I've read the card wrong and everything falls apart because of it.
I think it's because I've tried to play Morton so many times in decks that I'm just like, you know, this is good, this is bad. I just kind of forget what it does, and sometimes I think it's better than it is, and then, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Mulligan, 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 and he's gonna get 1, 2, 3. Oh my God! I really thought
Okay.
he got 1, 2, 6.
Okay.
It was nearer
close.
than 1, 2, 3. He could draw into it here.
That's right. Acceleratium, it's kind of a weird card for me.
Yeah.
So it's not a card that I would value too high in Portalcraft. Like I said, I've drafted quite a few Portalcraft decks just this week alone. Acceleratium can be good, but it's not something you want to see early by any means.
That's for sure.
And how much use are you really going to get out of it? And I've seen these players draft them like crazy. We've seen like 2 in almost every single Portalcraft deck that we've seen so far.
The big thing about Acceleratium, I think, in rotation right now is that there's so many ways to build into your deck artifact kind of finders, right? Things that will pull artifact cards out of your deck, and especially based on the way that curves play out, and if you happen to hit things like biofabrication.
Ooh. Or you actually get your analyzing artifacts.
This is one of the
early.
scenarios that can be very, very good for it, right? Because as you mentioned, there are some very crazy early curve plays you can make with Portalcraft depending on how the situation plays out. Acceleratium is one of the ways to get there. Acceleratium plus biofabrication gets very crazy.
Yep, that's right. And yeah, we actually see a combo in hand right now that can get around evolution in a future turn here.
Yeah, playing the... Doesn't have the Icarus, which probably would be the biggest 2-cost evolution card here, but has the Gravikinetic Warrior, which will do a similar effect, just a more pricey, but more stat lines associated with it.
Oh, this is getting juicy. 2 analyzing artifacts in hand already with that Acceleratium. I feel like a good push is coming here soon, and DARX has so many cards in hand and is only going to continue to draw some.
I really like Fantasy having, again, the aggressive line. He always manages to land himself in this situation.
Every time.
He's put DARX down to 14, using the Pitfall, hasn't had any expenditure of Evolution Orbs here, and it's really on DARX's court here to figure out how he's going to pull himself back into this with the tempo options that he has.
That's right, and it looks like he's just continuing to play the value game every single turn. He's really got this mindset of, I just want to have all of the options going into this endgame. I don't care if you've dealt this much damage to me already. I will eventually take control of this game. It's up to Fantasy now to see if he can actually push this aggressive playstyle to the end game.
Let's hope that nothing big is milled here for DARX. But I do think DARX needs to figure out a way to knock the board clear out of the park, right? Because especially if Fantasy hasn't put any resources into it, you can't just try to trade inefficiently over time. You need to make sure that there are resources that you're taking away from Fantasy when you spend your own.
Not only that, Fantasy, without necessarily knowing it, is perfectly playing around this Acceleratium, like double analyzing artifact play, because all of his followers have 5 defense right now. Very tough to get around, but it looks like DARX is going to start cashing it in just to draw some cards.
Yeah, and I think you absolutely need to do this. Start playing your artifacts, see what you get on the draw, and figure out what the most effective evolution play is to try to get back in here. It's not the worst if you use your evolution orb and you end it with an even trade with one of Fantasy's evolution orbs, and you kind of reset the board state. I think that's almost kind of the best scenario you can hope for.
Right, and this is where DARX is going to start cashing in. Did get those extra puppets, so now can utilize the combo to get some board presence here, and ends the turn. Interesting.
Yep, opts to pass the turn with 5 play points remaining, and this is just going to continue in Fantasy's favor of building more and more cards with value on them. Shadowcraft really flexing its last word effects right now, too.
How does he do it? How does Fantasy, in no matter what format, doesn't matter what deck he's playing, Control Blood, it's Take Two, it's whatever, he is ending the game before 10 play points in some form or another. This guy, talk about consistency,
my gosh.
Especially in lines of play. Fantasy knows what he likes to do, and he does it well.
Yeah. Man. And he's just gotten so much value, too, off of his early game followers.
Yeah, and now DARX is just in this place where, like, yeah, I've built up all this card advantage, but how do I not die here?
Colossal Construct. That is based off of your artifact play. You deal damage. Yep.
Yeah. Now, artifacts index. So you have to generate artifacts for this to be good, but of course it can be insane in the right circumstances, and we're showing some of its power right now.
All right, this is beefy, and as far as I know, there's no pitfall in hand here for Fantasy, so it's going to be a board situation that's going to help him out of this one.
He can evolve into this, but then again, that will slow down his aggressive line of play here. Yeah, this is tough now. So Fantasy had an upper hand, but we're starting to see DARX, if he can make it around the corner here, past this last evolution orb, I think he's going to have the advantage going to the end game. And you know, and we talked a little bit about that area, and it's kind of iffy, but alongside Zeus in an end game situation, whew, how do you get past it?
Yeah. Now, DARX has not had the opportunity to push any amount of damage to face on Fantasy yet, but you think about it, 14 damage on this next turn here is insane.
Yeah.
Not that he's going to go for that, but he could go for an insane board trade situation here too.
Okay. Otherworld Rift,
Otherworld Rift is definitely, no, we know there are 3 more artifacts in the deck because of the Colossal Construct. So this will guarantee you can get rid of the last word effect, get a second artifact, and at least guarantee yourself a board clear, right?
Yeah. At least something. And that Acceleratium is still in play. So still ways to get those artifacts out, even draw more cards.
Yep, and this is the last turn Acceleratium is existing too, so DARX has got, I would say, a lot of value out of that Acceleratium.
Absolutely, and these puppets as well, like just infinite value, essentially. Like all of these cards were essentially free, as you can see, with all the cards that DARX still has left in hand, and is going to use that area.
Nice. Yeah, he's just trying to maintain stats on board, maintain a lot of value here.
That was a risky play, leaving something in play like that. You know, not going for a full board clear, not trying for it.
He's making that call. I mean, in unlimited rotation, you can never, right? Because there's just so many options that will come from hand or take away the board state or remove the 7/8. But playing in the world of Take Two, a 7/8 is actually a very big difficulty.
And I like it, though. I mean, Fantasy's right on that bubble.
What does he have? 11 damage with the Otherworld Rift. He could just get rid of the ward. So not quite lethal just yet. The Baudkatha is there. He can clear out the board.
He's got to. I feel like he has to.
Yeah.
If you leave anything alive here, you're just risking it. this is the situation that DARX put himself in. I feel like if he can get over this hump, Fantasy's got to top deck something to win this game. And, you know, we don't know his deck. We don't know if he's got, you know, a Zeus of his own or something like that. So
goes for the banish. Oh, he gets Storm off of it.
Don't you wanna die?
all right,
Okay.
Fantasy, what you got?
This colossal construct
Yeah.
has just taken over the game.
Ooh, that's a ward.
Okay. But in combination, okay. I can see it.
Something. It's something.
Still living on a prayer.
That's right. I mean, this is the downside, right? If you play aggressively in Take 2 and you use all your evolution orbs in such a way to where you don't have defensive options, you can't just run out of things to
Fantasy
do.
played into what I think is a devastating situation. There's multiple Storm cards in the hand for DARX, and is this it? It's 12, right?
Yeah, I don't know what card you can draw here to get past the Zeus and deal 3. And DARK's going to play it super safe as well.
Yeah. And again, 8 defense is so much in Take 2.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. I see how he's doing this. I don't see it. Happy Pig, you know, showed up just, you know, to get that smiling face on screen.
Yep, we know with the Radiant in the pocket, you can go over the ward and then Radiant and do the 7+4 to close it out. And Fantasy on the verge of being eliminated here.
Wow. Such an aggressive game plan. Nearly there. 3 defense on the side of DARX. Just didn't have that last little push he needed. Just a little bit.
What was the high end of the curve that Fantasy pulled, right? That's a big question in my mind. You know, this game could have swung the opposite way if Fantasy had the option to have a Zeus on his side, right?
And another Acceleratium just to rub it in.
Yeah.
With these Portalcraft players, you know, they like to rub it in.
They so badly want that opportunity to play the infinity turns, you know, and that's why they just want to show like, I wish the game could go longer so I could show you the extent to my power.
I have all these sweet tools at my disposal. I just want to show you that I had more stuff. Yeah.
Wow, that game again goes to show you the advantage that, at least in Take 2, the advantage that's provided by having cards that affect things from the hand, right? Whether that be Colossal.